So there are some people who would like to categorize males into two camps, the alpha and the beta. The problem is that this is likening male hierarchy to wolf packs rather than our closest cousins, bonobos and chimpanzees. Now, recently, I've seen shorts and TikToks that are talking about the so-called Sigma life, as I have only just recently heard of it. Now, my question to you is, to which of these two species should we liken human hierarchy to? I'd love to hear your comments in the section down below. Hello everyone, J Rhymes here with the Periodic Review. I want to earn your subscription today, so if I do, please consider liking and sharing this video, crushing that red subscribe button, and hitting that bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss a content release. Now, I did my absolute best to ensure that I was covering some of the more risque parts of this particular article here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about the Urban Dictionary version of the Sigma male. So the Sigma male is a more internally focused sibling to the alpha male. While the alpha male quantifies himself on his high position in the social hierarchy, a Sigma male prefers to forego the social hierarchy and need for external validation altogether and pursue internal strength instead. Essentially a loner or stray man, although Sigma males may have a close circle of friends and loved ones whom they share a deep connection. The Sigma male is not socially inept, but simply socially disinterested, prefers solitary activities where he doesn't have to play social politics and can simply focus on himself. The Sigma male accepts that he does not need power over others as the alpha male desires, but rather needs only power to control himself and preserve his own autonomy from others. Sigma males are often pragmatic, but may be seen by others as aloof, paranoid, secretive, or selfish. I thought that was actually kind of interesting. I think it's actually very fascinating when we look at different societal hierarchies and we try to, put labels and try to give like a binary yes or no, one or two kind of ideal when it comes to different things, And there are some nuances, especially when it comes to this whole idea of alpha, beta, and now apparently Sigma male, which is very, very new to me. Now, I just think it's really funny because you kind of see alpha males as, the most masculine men that you can think of. And then like the polar opposite, which is the beta males, which is the polar opposite of that, being more feminine, maybe more metrosexual and much more of a follower than the alpha male. And then the Sigma male is just kind of like the third party that's kind of sort of in the middle, but kind of not really. I just think it's really interesting because when it comes to talking about hierarchy, when it comes to males, people want to, slap a label on it and then just do the polar opposites. And I think it's probably more nuanced than that. And especially when we talk about our cousins, we talk about chimpanzees and bonobos, where their hierarchy, although I think bonobos are more or less more docile, but they have more of a monarchy rather than a patriarchy, which is kind of like the two opposites as far as like the leadership is concerned. However, with chimpanzees and bonobos, the hierarchies kind of occurs when it comes to the point where, are you good at reciprocity? Like, are you good at, ensuring that, the sick are taken care of? Or you're making sure that, hey, if I do a favor for you, you're going to do a favor for me. And we can do that back and forth and trade and things like that. That's actually how they create their hierarchy. So if you're really, really good at that, oftentimes those are the chimps or the bonobos that end up in the top of the hierarchy. Now, obviously with chimpanzees, they're much more aggressive and oftentimes they can rise up with another group that's more aggressive, and then they can take that, that top person out. However, those kind of violent takeovers do not last very long because the thing is they want peace, they want reciprocity, they want to be able to have a good community with each other, be able to trade back and forth, doing favors. And that's really how that works. And I think that obviously works more closely to humans rather than the pack mentality, which is reserved for wolves and stuff like that. Now, one thing that was really interesting about this particular article, which honestly, it was kind of laughable, to be honest. I kind of feel like they're trying to make these labels work and stick, and a lot of it just doesn't make sense. And it's possible I just don't understand it. Maybe I need to do a little bit more digging, but on the surface level, it seems very silly. So this person goes on about talking about sigma males. As I said, for most of human history, there wasn't anything other than either alpha or beta. You're either a king or peasant. Okay, that makes sense. You're either the top or the bottom. Rarely was there anyone who was in the middle of the totem pole. You were the leader, you were the follower. Once civilization became more advanced and technology improved, this allowed people to become wanderers, vagrants, and lone wolves. It allowed people to live outside of the dominance hierarchy, being neither below anyone or above anyone. I think it was the Ronin? Or I think it was the Ronin in Japanese culture, where they were kind of like the lone wolf samurais, individuals that kind of did their own thing. They kind of followed some of the samurai way, but kind of did their own thing. I could be wrong about that, but that's something that I remember. Possibly I'm misremembering. Now, it allowed people to live outside dominance hierarchy. Okay, suddenly a guy like Casanova could literally travel the world, and because he knew how to talk to girls and turn them on, he could become an alpha male within the different circles he traveled to. This is the Sigma male, a man who does not belong to any tribe. He is a wanderer, adventurer, and a traveler. He is no master, nor is he slave. He shifts between different social circles and dominant hierarchies without ever fully getting involved in one. Previously, this wasn't possible. You need a tribe to protect you, trade with, and live with. But as civilization has grown more and more advanced, become a Sigma male has become possible and even preferable, like it is nowadays in many ways. I just think that's actually really, really interesting. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of you that are just like, no, this actually makes sense, and I'm sure you're gonna let me know in the comment section down below. But I just thought this was a really interesting, like, social kind of thing to talk about, because of the fact that when you think about alpha and beta, you think of wolves, you think of dogs. You know, you have your alpha, which is the leader, dictates decisions to the pack. You have your beta, which is level 2, advisor to the alpha, maintains discipline in the pack, so kind of like your managers. You have the delta, watching the territory boundary, caretakers of ill-wounded wolves. And then your omegas, obeys other dominant wolves, eats after all dominant wolves eat. And what's really interesting, especially about packs with wolves, you know, they only have like maybe 15 or 20 wolves in a pack. And I think with chimps and bonobos, they have a little bit more. How many in? I think they call them pods. No, I don't know what they call them. Many in a pod. I'm sure it'll tell me the actual. Because I know that if you espouse to the belief in how we've evolved over time, somewhere about 1 or 2 million years ago, humans, what we know today, somewhere around that time, they split off from the chimpanzees and bonobos. So the chimpanzees and bonobos kind of stayed where they were at. This is what, you know, scientists believe. And then somewhere down the line, you know, we broke off from that and became the humans that we are today. But what's interesting is I think they have a lot more than like 15 or 20 individuals. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really finding this on the fly, so I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not really sure about how many. I'm pretty sure there's probably more. And what's really interesting when it comes to animals and when it comes to people as well, they've done a lot of studies, especially on mice and rats, and especially how they act and react when they have enough space, when they have enough things to do, versus, you know, really cramped spaces, a lot of them in in one place, and you know, the different effects that happens on those different individuals. We're definitely born to be more free, more spread out, and so it's really interesting to see all the effects that we're having on humanity, especially with these really large cities. But when it comes to the differences between alpha, beta, and now apparently sigma males, I don't know, I just kind of feel like this isn't really something that really reflects really well for humanity. As far as like understanding hierarchy, I think it makes much more sense to kind of compare hierarchy from not to wolf packs, but more or less to groups of chimpanzees and bonobos, which they definitely have a hierarchy, create friendships and stuff through reciprocity. But anyways, I would love to hear you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to let me know in your thoughts in the comments section. It's been a minute since I made a video. Send us your top ideas via email at theperiodicreview@gmail.com. All of my sources and links are in the video's description down below. And from my family to yours, good night.